So I feel myself in a bit of a predicament at the moment. On the one hand, I myself have raved till I was a horse over the butchery Starfire's character in the live-action DC Universe iteration of Titans received. I mean, dear God, man, that hair, that costume, that god-awful coat that just would not go away, and its persistence to be worn unscathed throughout the first season. And of course other such redheads in the media have pointed this out. I don't need to reiterate the fact that the red menace is a dwindling one. It's always been this do as I say, not as I do mentality, and I've contended with my fair share of dissent over this opinion of either true to canon matters for all, or it doesn't for all. Yet, at the same time, I come across pieces of original fan art or cosplay of a character that I enjoy that is 100% true to canon, and then in the same search I'll come across a fan art or a cosplay that isn't 100% true to canon, and I don't find myself having the same visceral reaction that I have when it's the professionals handling said canon that butcher it. Yet others do, and it baffles me. So let's examine this. Process begin! So I think I did my due diligence and compiled a list of the 4 most prominent examples of fan art supremacy to have occurred in the last 5 years. There are likely many more examples of these that have occurred, but certainly not enough to gain momentous traction that normies of the collective of every fandom out there, such as myself, actually picked up on. I only see what comes across my Twitter feed, people, alright? I can only include in this video what I know about or what I can find through search engines on the Google machine or DuckDuckGo or what have you. That absolutely does not produce all of the shenanigans that you could possibly want in a video like this. So if you know of any occurrences that I didn't include that you think should be included, link me in the description, and if I get enough, we might have a sequel video. But let's not delay. I know you want to get into the nitty-gritty of this, and we will, but first, some definitions for those in my audience who aren't acclimated to internet culture as much as I or you are. Hi, Dad! So, when we're talking about fan art, we're referring to an artwork created by fans of a work of fiction and derived from a series character or other aspect of that work with reference to artworks that are neither created nor commissioned or endorsed by the original creators of the work. So, having that in mind, let's get started, shall we? I know I've talked about this one before, briefly, but for those of you who haven't heard this yet, I'll recap. The year was 2015, and the SJW fanatics of the microblogging and social networking website known as Tumblr had latched their toxic suckers of death and mayhem onto user Zami070, who had made the mistake of artistically rendering characters in such a way that was not up to certain people's standards. Oh no. This resulted in 40+ blogs and various other social medias being created with the sole purpose of criticizing Zami070's problematic fan artistic renderings. The following images of Rose Quartz and Sardonyx from Steven Universe, Fluttershy from My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, and characters from the anime Yaomushi Petal are some examples of the more hot-button images that elicit the reactions of utter vitriol from the community at large. The criticisms of the arts included things such as Rose Quartz is too thin, her depictions of a Japanese character with yellow skin and slanted eyes being racist, removing the afro from a black character and giving said character blonde hair, drawing stereotypes of a Native American when attempting a human representation of a horse character. Yeah. This resulted in Zami070 announcing suicide on her blog with the hope that finally she would have some peace from the highly critical Tumblrites. But as we all know, there is no rest for the wicked, and no amount of sympathy cards can stop someone bent on it from beating a dead horse. No pun intended. And when Zami070 returned with updates about her condition after this, well, things got more interesting. Shall we read this together? Let's read this together so you can get an idea of what exactly it is that I am referring to. because it's a hot take. Tomorrow I have to go back to a new hospital so they can monitor me for safety so I won't do anything dumb again. But for right now, I'm resting with Olive. It's been a long week. Good naps and cute pets keep me sane. Heart, I love you all, and once again, I'm so sorry. I hope you fucking die. Like, seriously, this attention whoring is getting really fucking old. Look, everyone, a privileged little white girl pretending she gonna kill herself. Let's all fucking rush to defend her like she's not an oppressor. Do you know what white privilege is fucking responsible for? You're the reason blacks are being gunned down in the street. You're the reason we didn't see a black president until fucking 2008. And as fucking soon as POC and LGBT communities are represented positively, you have to come and turn each and every one of those characters into a fucking racist caricature straight out of the 1920s. Honestly, you deserve to die. Your art is fucking shit too. Hello, yes, welcome to the internet. How long will you be staying? May I take your coat? And don't forget, you're here forever. Charming place we inhabit, isn't it, ladies and gentlemen? In 2017, the folks over at Game Grumps released a game called Dream Daddy to the public. Dream Daddy is a visual novel dad dating simulator where players can choose between 7 different fathers to date. Absolute full judgment from me if you in fact opted to play this game at all. Come on people, go outside, date an actual real life man, why don't you please and thank you. The original Dream Daddies are presented on the screen for reference, nothing more. Please don't get any ideas. So this game was released, and then after the release, a fan artist by the name of Onips decided to depict the 7 Dream Daddies as gender bent, in a fairly decent re-rendering of the original 7, I must say. And this, can you imagine it, was met with backlash, as it usually is. From the trans community, go figure, for gender bending a ambiguous maybe trans character from what I gather, for sexualizing in the first place and then over sexualizing on top of that, for looking too young, and for fat shaming. Which is funny, that they had a problem with the sexualization of these gender bent dream daddies. But I digress. The backlash Onips received was so incredibly great that Onips saw fit to take leave of the internet for a time. Of course, this isn't nearly as dramatic as an attempted suicide, however, it still is interesting that such a large collection of people bent on protecting the underdogs of society could dogpile so damn hard a single individual for the crime of, forgive my booberness, I believe the correct term is problematic art renderings. Of course, let's not dwell too long on the matter, however, we have 2 more examples of this phenomena to go, and so little time on this earth, don't we? Is everyone here familiar with the Japanese role-playing video game that allows you to kidnap small creatures in the wild in an effort to catch them all and train them so that you may eventually enter them into what is essentially a Fight Club-esque tournament until the creatures that you've enslaved pass out or beat the other player's creatures into a consciousness? That is the essence of the game Pokemon. Any variation, to be quite frank, and boy have there been many variations. However, I have no wish to dissect that glaring moral hiccup, for we have problematic fan art to scrutinize, my dudes. More specifically, we have from user Nunju0517 Nessa fan art to judge harshly from our smartphone pedestals. More specifically, we have the skin color of this Nessa fan art to make a colossal hullabaloo over, don't we, internet? I mean, well, when you just look at this glaringly obvious problem, the skin color's all wrong, the shade too light. What is this disrespect? Can you believe the utter audacity of a Japanese fan artist to draw a character from a Japanese video game in a fashion that is not 100% true to form? Where are my pearls? I must clutch them! Afternoon all, so we've been seeing a lot of well-known artists drawing Pokemon, Nessa light-skinned, and it bothers us. Imagine that. Light skin bothering the internet in the current year. What a shock! So, here is our ongoing thread of Nessa, done right. This is by deVries. At handle yada yada yada. We don't care. And while we're amassing galleries and shrines to what my new brain comprehended as a rather minor newcomer character to the scene of Pokemon, the internet called upon its fan art scientists to analyze the scene of the crime. This artist can draw however they'd like, and I think that's great, but acting like they have a grasp of color and value, and that this is an accurate portrayal of her skin tone is just not correct. Her skin is lighter here, darling. And because this is the internet and all laws apply, this dry sound effect was in full swing. Another definition for the noobs out there. Hi again, Dad. The dry sound effect is a phenomenon whereby an attempt to hide, remove, or censor a piece of information has the unintended consequence of publicizing the information more widely, usually facilitated by the internet. It is an example of psychological reactance, wherein once people are aware that some information is being kept from them, their motivation to access and spread it is increased. A Japanese fan artist was attacked by Americans for not drawing new Pokemon character Nessa dark enough. The Japanese art community is now trolling the PC police by exclusively drawing Nessa as a white woman. Now, of course, that was not the full extent of how far the internet took this counter-reactance. I must inform you there was a significant number of Nessa renderings of a certain primitive and wild nature that I am afraid I cannot show you, due to the fact that that might get me struck for hate speech, given their nature and YouTube's own tendency to liken those of darker pigmentation to primates. I'll leave the pursuit of that to you, my viewership, should you feel so inclined to search it out for yourselves. But we've another instance to get to, and not a moment to waste. SheRa and the Princesses of Power is an American television show that first aired from 1985 to 1987. In 2018, however, the show was rebooted with much the same lackluster and lazy animation style that shows such as Adventure Time, Gravity Falls, Steven Universe, Star vs. the Forces of Evil, and many other contemporary cartoons have since fallen prey to. In my humble opinion, that is definitely 100% accurate, let's be honest. The style in question is referred to as Cal Art, or thin line animation, and it boasts a simplistic design with round eyes, noodle arms, bean-shaped heads, and worm-shaped mouths. This did not go unnoticed by the masses, and as such, the people spoke their dissatisfaction at the notion that yet again one of their beloved childhood cartoons would be bastardized by an industry that seemed content with mind-numb and lackadaisical efforts for quick and easy dirty profit. But never fear, my friendos, for on the internet there be a plethora of creative minds that work tirelessly to fill the empty void in our hearts and minds when canon doesn't grant us our every wish. From fanfiction to fan art, there is an amalgamation of different options for us to indulge upon in our search for fulfillment. In our canons, headcanons that is. User Artie Demon was no different in this regard, and took it upon herself to correct the error in the following manner, and the Lord saw that it was good. Nothing happened. It was the greatest anticlimactic twist of my entire existence, wherein nothing of note or consequence occurred, and the masses went about their day unimpeded and without irritation. At the end of the day, we all gathered around the fire, and we sang Kumbaya and roasted marshmallows and talked about our hopes and our dreams and our aspirations, and all was well in the world. So you can go. Good night. Go home. Tip your waitresses. Try the veal. We bow out. Why are you still here? The show is over, people. Go home, alright? I'm just gonna be chilling here. Arting and stuff. Scripting, maybe. You don't believe me? Well, you're not wrong to. This piece of art did, in fact, make the panty twisters do what they do best. Hey look, it's a boring and uninspired redesign. Lol. Actually, that is a boring and uninspired redesign of a previously boring and uninspired redesign, if I'm to even grant you that this is a boring and uninspired redesign. And of course, with these detractions comes cries of non-realism, when the previous canon reboot design doesn't seem to want to bother with pesky things like shadows or such. Why did you whitewash the character on the very left? Do you have something against dark skin? Oh, you mean Mermista, the character whose original debut looked like this. I believe the real question is, why was the character misrepresented in the reboot from her original representation? I mean, since you've established that you're so concerned about changes in a character's skin color, it's only a fair question to ask, methinks. Even pointing that out, though, however, will get you met with a complete 180 on the matter of accuracy and race portrayal of characters. Listen to this. There was literally no reason to change the skin tones, even if you changed the body type, which you also didn't need to do. I can't think of a damn reason to change their skin. This is exactly what I was thinking when they announced the Netflix remake. They changed the original skin colors to be more inclusive so everyone could have a princess to relate to. What's your point? Okay. But you're right. You're right, absolutely. Art style is no excuse not to consider race or body type. Take that, Beldam, and take that, Jack Skellington. Draw something else, why don't you, if you don't know how to draw that type in realism. Stay in your lane. But then how are artists supposed to even improve? Like, okay, real talk. You're supposed to stay in your lane and never venture out into anything ever, at all. Outside of what you already know. How are you supposed to ever learn a damn thing? Internet, answer me that. Continuing on. It seems to me that I have this all backwards. So correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems to me that the correct way of going about doing things, from all of this hullabaloo that I've been witnessing, is that being transformative is only really a right reserved for the big boys and girls up in their fancy animation offices, deciding how exactly to be derivative from the original content that they are rebooting, without in fact having any inspired ideas of their own. However, when it comes to the fans, anything that is transformative to the second degree is a big no-no. If you have a fun idea for a character and it's not 100% in line, you are effectively scum. Is that how it goes? Am I missing anything? Yeah? Got it? Good. But somehow, some way, some why, it is not okay to criticize the actual showrunners for their subpar work and design. It's not okay to point out their hypocrisy. It's only okay when it's of the approved body type, race, art style, etc., etc. You can't win. And here's where we get our title, ladies and gentlemen. Don't worry about the fan art supremacists, all right? Do not worry about the fan art supremacists telling you what you can and you cannot do with your art and how to portray it. Unless they are paying you, you don't know them a goddamn thing, right? And you know what? That makes all the difference. And so the next time they take umbrage with your art style and design, my advice: throw them a PayPal link. Oh, one more thing. You're gonna love this, kid. So, I was asked to not open this up on camera, but I can definitely show it off. Magnificent Bastard, a patron of mine, decided that it was, a good idea to get me this lovely pillow. There's really no introduction for this, so I guess I'll just. He got me a Senpai Sargon pillow. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. Oh no, the tag is falling out. I had to. My family came over the day that I got this, and so I had to hide this in the closet. Cause how do I explain this? How do I explain this to boyfriend? How do I explain this to my father? Dad, stop watching. What am I supposed to do with this? I guess I'm gonna have to use it in a video or something. What do we think? A new character? I don't know. But anyway, kids, if you would like to send your friendly neighborhood Weebo some interesting things in her P.O. box, it's in the description down below. Knock yourself out. Have fun. I won't stop you.